So we're just beginning a lap of the San Sebastian Grand Prix course. We're in the town of Lasarte at the moment. This is right at the end of the lap. We'll be crossing this part again shortly. Yeah, why don't you just 3-point? Yeah, I've got nothing better to do. You could have just driven down the hill and gone round the roundabout, but hey. So in a moment on this roundabout, you're going to see a sign for the Hippodrome. It's the orange one. The Hippodrome presumably is where the cars were kept overnight, and the sort of pit area, as it were. It's marked on a lot of information about the circuit. So the Hippodrome is down there to the right, and right now we're just coming on to the main start-finish. Now, the question is, where exactly was the start-finish and grandstands and that kind of thing? And frankly, your guess is as good as mine on that. The Hippodrome area is still a horse race track now, so I don't think the layout of the town here has actually changed too much. We have a BMW in 2013 BMW 320D. It has this automatic stop feature. Sometimes it stops, sometimes it doesn't. I'll be the first one to say I don't really understand how it decides when to stop and when not to. Sometimes it'll do it at toll booths. Sometimes I find it'll just roll through toll booths. You know, with the engine still running. I think the roundabout that we passed a moment ago is probably was the start finish. The other thing that's notable is if you look at a lot of the buildings along here, they are old industrial, so one does get the sense that this is probably how the route, a little bit similar to the way it looked in period. Clearly, San Sebastian's grown enormously in size since the time, of the races and so on. So there's a whole motorway complex been built up nearby, and our approach to the route is going to have to be modified by that. So shortly, we're going to be going off the route. But I guess one point I would want to make is look, the curving nature of the course is immediately clear. We'll see more of that sort of as we move on round, but the fact that the fact that it's curving, the fact that probably you could have kept the throttle flat for like 80-85% of the lap, that impression came across to me pretty forcefully. So look, here we're about that the route goes straight on. We can't go down there because it becomes one way because of the way the route has been modified. So rather than going on down there, we're now coming off the route to drive parallel to it on the other side of the river. We'll be seeing that a little bit more closely. So here we are crossing the river. And this is really the only way you can actually drive the course in the direction that it was originally as it was raced upon. The whole thing's been unfortunately rather disfigured by roundabouts, and we'll see more of that. Never mind. Slow drivers in this part of the world, one has to say. I think it's relevant keeping this piece in the film because on the other side, the route that they actually drive, it's actually very similar in character to this route that we're driving now. Okay, so as we can see here, these street signs, Andoain and Urnieta, excuse my Spanish pronunciation, main two of the towns on the route. You'll notice that a lot of the towns have sort of become blended together, which doesn't that speak to the urban sprawl of the 20th century? Alright, so we're about to be rejoining the route. I guess the disappointing thing is that if you'd come here maybe 15 years ago, probably all these bullshit roundabouts wouldn't have been there. So, to me, apart from that high street in Lasarte, we're about to come on to the most original and the best preserved part of the route. I just hope the locals stay out of the way so we can get an impression of the speed. So this, I'm convinced, is a key part of the route here. So this is the outskirts of Andoain, if you missed the street signs there. Now this corner that we're coming up to here, this must have been an absolute, well, this must have been cool. Remember in Period they said it was narrow. Well, narrow on a poor surface with trees on each side, my word, it must have been quite something. Highly industrialised now, as you can see. Find yourself wondering what this actually looked like when the Nuvolarus of the world raced along here. So again, what did this section look like? We're clearly off how the road used to be now, and onto this new complex of pointless roundabouts. But hey, it's better than stoplights. So a sense there of the undulations, and again here, a number of blind crests. Yeah, it must have been exciting with the dicky surface that they had in period. I just think sections like this have been so altered, it's very hard to tell how it used to be. But, I mean, this section, how fucking fast must this have been? Obviously, given there's a police station down here, I'm not giving us my sense is they put that thing in there to stop people driving too fast down that hill, because it naturally goads plenty of speed out of you. This is Ernietta, by the way. Old dude Fleming in the street, gotta love it. Have a really long cycle on these traffic lights here. It reminds me of Bangkok, where they seem to have 10-minute cycles on the traffic lights. So cross street there to Lasarte, which gives you some impression of how we've already done 3/4 of the lap here. My sense is that I think this whole section has changed shape. My sense is these curves are something that's been built with the roundabouts in mind, not with not tracing the original route in mind. It's unfortunate. And again, I think this is really representative of how it was, with trees on each side. And I dare say the town wasn't as built up then, and come out of the town here again, I think this is a really great representative section. Obviously the traffic's rather too heavy here for us to get a proper sense of what it was like, but look at that, trees on each side, and mushroom for error. So again, right, imagine this in an Alfa P2 with this back curve coming up here. I mean, at the kind of speeds we were doing a minute ago, it's hard to tell, but I'm not sure. Every time I come through this corner, I'm not sure how much brake I need and how much I don't. It's off camber. It's at low speed, it's nothing. At slightly high speed, it really is quite a challenge. I remember I said the same thing about the Nürburgring. And that, unfortunately, is it for the old part, for the true old part of the circuit. So we're going to join up and come back into the Sarthe in a moment. But, you know, we're back to disfigured by modernity here and these roundabouts and so on. And I mean, in this frustration where, even though there's two lanes, these fucking half-wits need to have both of them. Yeah, you need both, don't you? We are rolling back down into La Sarthe, and my sense is that probably the character of these roads hasn't even changed very much. to the start finish.